British explorer vanished into the Amazon in 1925, and a century later, we're still not sure if he found what he was looking for or if it killed him. Here's what's remarkable about Percy Fawcett. He wasn't a crackpot. He was a decorated Royal Artillery officer, a Fellow of the Royal Geographical Society, and a man whose maps of South America were used by governments and universities. But in 1920, Fawcett became obsessed with something that most of his peers thought impossible, a lost pre-Columbian city hidden deep in the Brazilian jungle. He called it Z. The story doesn't start with Fawcett, though. It starts with a manuscript. Around 1753, a Portuguese document surfaced describing a civilization, vast, organized, built by a sophisticated people. No one had ever found it. For 167 years, it was treated as legend. Then Fawcett read it, and something shifted in him. By 1906, Fawcett had already spent years surveying the Amazon. He'd mapped rivers, negotiated with indigenous peoples, and survived malaria twice. But this manuscript haunted him. He began collecting accounts from rubber tappers, traders, anyone who'd ventured into the deep jungle. They all described the same thing: ruins, walls, structures that didn't belong. In 1911, Fawcett published his theory in a lecture to the Royal Geographical Society. The room was skeptical. Archaeologists said the jungle couldn't support a city. Climatologists said the region was uninhabitable. But Fawcett had something they didn't: first-hand testimony. And he had obsession. Fast forward to 1920. Fawcett, now in his 50s, is writing letters to the American Museum of Natural History, to the Geographic magazine, to anyone who will listen. "I shall find this city," he writes. "Not I may, not I hope to. Shall." The certainty is almost frightening when you read those letters today. By 1925, Fawcett has secured funding, modest, but enough. He's 58 years old. He's planning an expedition with his son, Jack, 22, and a friend named Raleigh Rimmel. They pack provisions for several months. They tell their contacts they'll be out of touch for extended periods. Fawcett leaves behind a detailed map of his proposed route. December 1925. The expedition enters the Mato Grosso region of Brazil. Fawcett's last confirmed message arrives in Rio de Janeiro. "We hope to enter the unexplored territory around the 11th. That telegram, right here, those are his actual words, is the last direct communication from any of them. What's crucial to understand: Fawcett didn't vanish because he was reckless. He vanished because he was methodical. He'd scouted supply routes, built relationships with local tribes, planned for contingencies. He believed he was prepared, but he didn't know what he didn't know. 6 months pass. Nothing. A year passes. His family receives no word. The Royal Geographical Society launches inquiries. Theories begin circulating: disease, hostile tribes, accident. But here's what no one knew then, and this is the gap that matters, is whether Fawcett had found the city before he disappeared. Rescue expeditions were organized. Some found traces: a compass believed to be Fawcett's, reports from indigenous groups. One account suggested he'd been killed by the Kalapalo people. Another claimed he'd been captured and kept alive. None could be verified. The jungle kept its secrets, but here's where the real mystery deepens. In the 1970s, archaeologists using satellite imagery and ground surveys began finding evidence of pre-Columbian settlements in the exact region Fawcett was heading toward. Earthworks, geometric structures, evidence of sophisticated agriculture. The city, or cities, might have been real. Scholars now believe the Amazon wasn't empty wilderness when Europeans arrived. It was home to hundreds of thousands of people. Complex societies, urban centers. Everything Fawcett theorized about, everything his peers marked, was essentially correct. He was just a century ahead of the evidence. So what happened to him? In 2005, remains were allegedly found in the region and claimed to be Fawcett's. DNA testing was inconclusive. The mystery remains unsolved. Did he find the city? Did he perish searching for it? Did indigenous peoples, protecting their territory, stop him? We don't know. What's remarkable is this: Fawcett's obsession, dismissed as delusion by his contemporaries, was vindicated by science. Not completely. We'll likely never know his exact fate. But the civilization he believed in, it existed. His maps, his theories, his conviction that the jungle held secrets, all of it was grounded in something real. The irony is precise. Fawcett was right about everything except the one thing that mattered: how to survive finding it. His obsession was vindicated. But it cost him everything: his son, his life. His legacy became not discovery, but disappearance. This is what makes Fawcett's story so unsettling. He wasn't a fool chasing myths. He was a rigorous explorer whose error wasn't his research, it was his certainty. He believed so completely in what he'd find that he didn't adequately prepare for what he wouldn't. The jungle doesn't reward conviction. It rewards respect. Today, archaeologists continue work in the Amazon. They're finding the cities Fawcett believed in. They're mapping civilizations he theorized about. They're proving him right decades after his disappearance. But they're doing it carefully, methodically, with resources he never had. They're finding the truth he died seeking. Subscribe. We uncover forgotten stories like this every week, where history's heroes were sometimes just centuries too early.